Emily, we got a very good news today as we are going through one not so good news or very good news that no more H-1B fraudulent people filing the H-1B applications because they won't give any advantage if you file 10 applications or one application. You will be counted based on you and your passport number, not with how many number of companies that you filed applications. There's no advantage at all. So they should eliminate a good amount of fraud though. Emily, tell me how it's going to work right now. Give timeline. If let's say, for example, a company wants to file H-1B, walk me through what can be done right now to file into the new quota.
So starting February 28th, the company will have the ability to create the company account that will be used for the registration process. This is going to be a new platform. So we're not using the My USCIS account that we've used for the last 2 years, 3 years. 3 years. So brand new. And so starting February 28th, companies will have access to create that and attorneys will have access as well. From that point, the actual registration window where we'll be submitting those in this new system opens March 6th, 2024 and lasts until March 22nd. So right now, if you are planning to submit a registration in this year's lottery, now's the time to be gathering your documents, working with your employer, making sure they're aware of the process and they're aware of the timing and when things happen. Work with an attorney to make sure you're ready to go, and then make sure your employer has the required account. They can start setting that up February 28th, so it's too early to do that now. And then making sure that your registration is actually submitted between March 6th and March 22nd. There's no need to rush and do it right on March 6th. Anytime between March 6th and March 22nd will work. Everyone will get the same chance of selection. Doesn't matter how many companies register you, you only get one chance, and that's based on your passport information. And if you have multiple passports, if you're a citizen of multiple countries, you can only use one. So even if you have 2 passports, if you submit under 2 different passports, you will be kicked out of the system. Other things to be aware of, the filing fee for the registration is going to remain the $10 this year. So the proposal to increase it to $215, although that is being announced tomorrow, it doesn't take effect until April 1st. So the actual registration this year will still be the $10. The filing fees for the petition, if you are selected, are quite different. Those will be taking place on April 1st. There's going to be a new extra $600 filing fee, plus the I-129 H-1B filing fee is increased on top of that. If you're wanting premium processing, that fee is going to be more expensive starting in February. So everything's going to cost more except for the registration itself. And it is a benefit-centric process. So regardless of how many companies enter your name, put your name in the hat, you only get one shot. Once you are selected, if you did have multiple companies that registered you, all of those companies will be informed that you've been selected, and all of those companies will be able to file a petition on your behalf. So you're still only being counted once, but you can file with every petitioner that or pick the best one, pick the one that's got the best job offer, the best chance of approval.
Emily, when they are informing all the employers, do you know that if they would inform that, hey, this guy filed with 10 applicants, you're one of the employer?
I doubt it. I'm guessing that the selection notice is not going to be any different. It's just every one of those companies is going to get a selection notice, and then they'll have to work with the beneficiary to figure out who's going to file or if all of them are going to file.
So definitely they made it easier for people to file it. They didn't make it very hard to file it. And they have cut down on the fraud. Now, it's not going to be completely eliminated. Still, people who don't have jobs, if they are filing the H-1B, that's considered to be fraud. If the company doesn't have any job offer, they're filing the H-1B, it will be considered to be fraud. Even though it's not a multiple H-1B filing, it will be considered as file. Shania has this question. Can multiple companies from Twitter has this question, file for the same employee? Now, Shania, here is the thing. They can file it, but it doesn't give an advantage. For example, if I, Rahul Reddy, file from Apple, Google, Facebook, and let's say 10 companies, though, they won't pick me, they will consider me as only one person, though. They will not consider it as 10 different people, and I will not get an extra chance. It doesn't give any advantage. But yes, if a person has job offers, now here's the thing, genuine job offers, though. Now, don't do fraudulent offers, though. Don't. It still doesn't, just because you're getting picked only once, doesn't mean that you can file a fraudulent application, or you can help somebody to file the fraudulent application. That still is wrong. But if you have a job offer, let's say, for example, you're a highly talented person, you're working with Apple. Now, Google also wants to hire. If both people wants to file for the green card, for the H-1B application, they can. They can. Now, once you're selected in the lottery, though, you get an option to either go to Google or Apple and tell them to file the H-1B application. That's perfectly all right. You can do so if you have the genuine job offer.
One other change with this regulation is flexibility in the start date. So up until now, when we've had the electronic registration process, if you were selected, your start date had to be October 1st of that year. It can never be before October 1st because the visas don't become available till October 1st. But if you're not filing until June 1st, you could actually now put December 1st, 180 days from the time you're filing, as your start date, so that you don't, if you have OPT time, for example, you're not losing anything by switching over to H-1B too early. So that's one nice change with this regulation as well. And then I can't find it, but there were some added provisions where they are planning to codify or put into law the ability of USCIS to revoke petitions if there is any kind of fraud, if they don't think there was actually a job offer valid, if they think there's anything fraudulent or misrepresented in the registration itself, they can still revoke the petition. And they're doing that now, but they're kind of on shaky ground in some of those cases where they're doing it now. So they're planning on having it in writing that they have the power to do that. So please, even though, as you mentioned, you can file with multiple companies, be careful about who you're letting put your name out there. If it ends up that company really didn't have a job offer for you, it's a fake registration still. Even though you didn't get any advantage by getting multiple selections, or getting a higher chance of selection, it's still fraudulent and can cause you problems.
Emily, can you explain, if I have a master's degree now, of course, people know that master's degree people who obtained from an accredited nonprofit organization in United States get that extra 20,000 green cards, though, and 65,000 is open to all the people. How is the lottery conducted? Now, we have seen some changes recently. From the time we have seen the master's quota has been established. First, you go into the master's quota 20,000. What is left over will come to the 65,000. Now, later on, what they said was that all the people will be considered in the regular quota, and once the 65,000 and appropriately the number has been selected, the rest of the people only they will segregate the master's degree people will consider the master's degree people into the master's quota. In this way, the master's quota people have higher chances, a little bit higher chances in getting as compared to the previous system. Now, in this new announcement of USCIS that was done about 30-40 minutes ago, has there been any changes in it?
Not that I have discovered. I don't think they're planning on changing anything to the order that they conduct the lottery in. It's just the change to eliminate your ability to be counted multiple times.
Question from Vitala Surendra. Emily, I want you to answer the question. So if multiple employers have filed, assuming genuine employers, Emily, that's definitely one thing that people never should approach the fraudulent companies. Let's say, for example, Apple and Google filed a H-1B. Would the employee come to know that his name has been selected? Previously, it was only been told to the employer, not to the employee. Would the employee come to know?
No. So that doesn't change. So USCIS is only going to notify and give the selection notice to the employer. Even if it's multiple employers, all of the employers that put your name in the hat will get notified, but you as the employee will not. So you'll have to wait for your employer to inform you that you've been selected and then decide, you know, which company you want to proceed with or whether the company is even willing to proceed at that point.
So once again, guys, there is no advantage in filing the master's degree, but still, please don't file any fraudulent applications. We have seen a lot of people getting a lifetime ban for filing a multiple applications. That means they can never ever come into the United States. So even if the disadvantage is there, if you don't have a job, don't go to these fraudulent companies to file the H-1B. It's going to have a very negative impact. Anything else, Emily, on this lottery system?
I'm just trying to skim through it real quick to make sure we're not missing anything. Flexibility and the start date we covered.
Yeah, start date of filing the H-1B lottery again is March 6th of 2024 and until the noon of March 22nd, 2024. Let's look into the calendar dates to see where they fall into. Please try to file these applications. You don't have to file on the first day, guys, but try not to go all the way to March 22nd and try to file at that point of time. That's not a good practice. Try to file it in the second week or third week. That would be enough. You don't have to go all the way to March 20th to file this application. March 22nd falls to be give me 1 second. March 22nd falls to be a Friday noon, though. Noon, what they meant is the Eastern time, guys, not the Pacific time, not the Central time. So please make a note of that. March 6th falls to be is Wednesday only. So we have good amount of time to file. So it's not a very complicated thing to file the application. What are the things that they will request when we file the application? Do we need to provide the master's degree, Emily? Do we need to provide the LCA? Do we need to provide the end client letter? Or we don't need to?
As of now, assuming that the questions they ask we expect to remain the same, it's going to be the name, date of birth, passport number, country of birth, and whether you are submitting this under the master's cap or the regular cap. That's it. So you don't have to provide your actual master's degree certificate. You don't have to upload your passport. You don't have to do anything with an LCA. No information is provided about the end client. But when the company is doing the registration, they are certifying under penalty of perjury that they do have a valid job offer. And so if USCIS finds that statement to be incorrect, they can revoke for fraud or misrepresentation.
The question from Shivali is asking about the modernization requirements. Is this applicable for the H-1B extensions? So today's announcement is not applicable for the H-1B extensions. There are some proposals that may become coming effective in the coming time, but right now this is only the announcement today is only for the H-1B cap. Of course, there is another announcement, increase of the USCIS fees, though. That is not just H-1B modifications, it's the entire filing fees of the entire immigration process. But half an hour ago, 1 hour, it's only about the cap cases.
All right, so to recap, the fee for the registration process is still only $10 this year. It will increase to $215 next year. The window opens March 6th. Employers can start creating their accounts no earlier than February 28th. It's going to be in a new platform. And regardless of how many companies put your name in the hat, you only get one chance. If you do have multiple companies that put your name in and you are selected, all of the companies are going to be notified that you've been selected, and then it's going to be up to you and the companies to decide who you're going to file with.
Anything else, Emily?
I think that's it.
Thank you, guys. Wish you best of luck. Thank you for tuning.